Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. What a day it has been. Amazing day and a lot of gains. Our biotech shares are looking pretty good. It's around 3:54 p.m. and this is as good as it could have gotten. So I thought that I'll put up this video because there are a few things that have been happening with the oil price and I have some theories I wanted to share with you. So we are following yesterday's drop in oil prices with more drops this morning in the oil price. But in the after hours, it seems that the oil is going to spurt further. We are already seeing evidence of oil price going up because it's gone up by $1.50 around 3:55 p.m. So is it going to go up further, and what does it mean for tomorrow's market open? Those are the things I wanted to talk to you about. And once we have had this discussion, we'll see what happens tomorrow, whether what we analyzed came out to be true or not. So that's the most interesting things when it comes to markets. So let's get started. Let's start off with the story of the oil prices. When we look at the oil prices, there is this new news article that came up yesterday with regard to oil prices. It cites a lockdown that's happening in China. The Shanghai launches two-stage lockdown as COVID-19 cases surge, and OPEC Plus set for slight output target increase. And Russia-Ukraine peace talks may start Tuesday. And they were talking about it getting started in Turkey. So those were the reasons why the oil price went. And further, US also was going to release some oil from the strategic reserves. So those were the things that were pushing the oil prices down. And then we started the market today, and there were great reports that the talks between Russia and Ukraine, which had started in Turkey, were going very well, and that Russia was promising to reduce military hostilities around Kyiv and the surrounding town so that there can be more trust in the talks. So initially it sounded very good, and oil fell further. I think it fell another $5 in the morning when we saw that. And right now around 350, I thought I'll have a look at TradingView and see what is the price of oil. So if I look at the price of oil here, you can see that it's gone up $1.53. So all the drops that happened in the morning is gone, and now we are up $1.50. So what does that mean, and why did this happen? So it seems that people are not trusting Russia when it says that it's going to reduce hostilities, because I believe they had used a similar tactic elsewhere during a war where they bought some time to regroup and refill their ordinances and then attack again. So the feeling is that Russia may be pulling the same trick again by lulling everybody into a sense of false security. So that's the reason why the oil prices started to go up. Now just check out this recent news clip regarding the Russia-Ukraine talks.
Look, we'll discuss later whether Russia's doing this out of necessity because they really can't keep up their push towards Kyiv. Yeah. But it seems as if, are we to read this as some sort of progress?
Well, both sides seem to think there is some progress. I would say this, Chuck, any peace deal in any conflict is born out of necessity. Unless one side kind of wins outright, if you like, inevitably there are compromises. The big question, I think, tonight is whether the compromises that were talked about in the building behind me here for just 4 hours today, they came prepared and they walked out with proposals. But whether those compromises are going to be agreed to. One thing I would point to, for example, just as a hurdle, the chief negotiator from the Russian side talked about taking the proposals back to President Putin. So clearly President Putin is going to have to agree anything that's agreed here. And we don't know if he'll do that. There is talk from the Russian side that President Putin and President Zelensky might now meet in person. And that would be progress. On the Ukrainian side, they are talking about what they would like to see, and they are talking about this new security framework where NATO countries like the US, UK, even Turkey here would guarantee their security. It raises so many questions. But just think about this, Chuck. Before these talks started, the Ukrainian side were suggesting that they wouldn't eat anything, drink anything, or touch any surfaces for fear they might be poisoned. According to the Ukrainian side, there wasn't even a handshake at the beginning of the talks. So a little bit of trust has been born of the two sides facing each other and talking here in Turkey, and that, I think, everybody thinks is some progress.
So if you look at the gist of that video clipping out there, basically it says that two sides do not trust. And one of the things that I like, the statements that was made by the correspondent in Turkey, was that a compromise comes because both sides need to adjust something or the other. And that seems to be the spirit of the discussion out there. Both of them, I think, are exhausted. And from my point of view, as a layperson who is watching this conflict, first of all, there was no reason for having this attack. And before this attack, Russia was seen as this massive superpower with very high-tech capabilities in both defense and technology and everything. And that it was kind of untouchable. But having gone into this misadventure with Ukraine and being unable to capture the city of Kyiv, it seems that the facade of Russian supremacy is kind of dissolving in front of our eyes. Because if Russia was a superpower, it should not have been such a big problem. And then if you turn to the other alternatives, one of the alternatives for Russia is to save face by having this kind of a discussion and then coming to an agreement and taking a little bit of territory and claiming victory and walking away. That is one way of ending this. However, that would probably put Putin in a very negative position in Russia because it would be apparent that Russia was not as strong as it thought it was, and Putin was not carrying his weight in the world as he was supposed to because they couldn't defeat Ukraine and they had to compromise and come back. And also it sends signals to other countries, other superpowers like China and others, that probably Russia is not as strong as we thought it was, and therefore their calculations in geopolitics might change and it may put Russia at a disadvantage. So that's one problem of just compromising and walking away with a little bit of territory and face saving. The face saving would be a short-term thing. The other aspect is that if Russia is in a tough corner, then it might resort to weapons of mass destruction, which it possesses, both chemical as well as nuclear, and that's not good for the world. So Putin, the West is thinking that if we push Putin too much, then he would resort to those kind of weapons, and that's the reason why air cover and is not being provided by the West and NATO, because they don't want to antagonize Putin. But if you take the same logic further, it could also mean that after doing whatever he needs to do with Ukraine, he can start doing the same thing with Lithuania and Poland and other countries. And is NATO and US and Europe going to use the same logic that, oh, let's not antagonize him because he may use nuclear weapons and all? So it seems to me that the stalemate is going to continue until either someone within Russia decides to take Putin out, or Putin decides that it's okay to accept a compromise and then he will handle the fallout later on internally. So if those kind of things happen, then we have a resolution in sight. Otherwise, this is kind of looking very ugly the way it is. It has in the trajectory in which it is going. So let's hope that this peace deal prevails. Now, coming back to the question of what is going to happen tomorrow. So if the oil price continues going up, and if more and more participants look at history and start thinking that we can't trust Russia, that the ceasefire will definitely happen, but at the end of the ceasefire, they're going to come up with really solid ammunitions and they are going to blast their way through Ukraine. If that is the feeling, then oil price will go up further tomorrow. And when oil price goes up, it's going to be hitting the inflation numbers. And therefore, the stock market will react negatively. So the volatility will likely go up. So those are the things. And then if you project forward, the lockdown in Shanghai is not going to last forever. It may take a few more days, and China would look at all the data that it has collected regarding the tests that it has done. And it may determine that it's time to open. And when they open up, there'll be a fresh demand for oil. So oil is going to go up again. So I'm thinking that all the exuberance that we are seeing on NASDAQ today is something that we should take advantage of. But we cannot believe that it's going to last forever and that it's going to be a turnaround. So that's where I would like to end this session. I hope you like this analysis, and let us see tomorrow what happens. If oil goes up, NASDAQ is going to get hit. If oil doesn't go up, then we'll continue with our positive trajectory for NASDAQ. And that's what my conclusion is. So that's all for today. Thanks and have a great day. And I'll see you tomorrow. And if you like this segment, just put a like out there so I know that I need to produce more of these. And if you're here for the first time, please subscribe and be a member of our community, and you'll get a lot of new market news and updates on a daily basis. Thanks and have a great day.